Hey guys, what's going on? This is Movie Man Matt, and this is my new channel dedicated to everything movie, from reviews, discussions, topics, and questions, and everything in between. So this is my first video, so it might be a little rough, so please bear with me if you will. But I decided I wanted to review the movie Pixels. It just came out in theaters last weekend, and it stars Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Josh Gad, Peter Dinklage, and Michelle Monaghan. Now, the basic plot of this movie is that aliens see a capsule we send into space and take the message as a declaration of war and then send down pixelized versions of our 1980s video games to attack us. And it's up to the nerds of the world, being Adam Sandler and Josh Gad and Peter Dinklage, to save the world. So, where this movie is good is the fact that the fight sequences between the pixelized video games are stunning and very, very fun to watch. The Pac-Man fight that you see in the trailer, the Centipede fight that is somewhat in the trailer, the Donkey Kong fight that's kind of teased in the trailer, they're all really fun to watch. Even in battle, when you have a bunch of random video games coming down and attacking, very, very fun, very enjoyable. The problem is everything in between is dull, is boring, and it's not funny. They try to be, but they aren't, and they try to develop the plot, and it just fails in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of parts of the movie where the plot just doesn't make sense, where they're doing one thing and then they kind of change it around, and then they kind of forget that they did one thing, and it just nothing is completely consistent throughout. But that, I would say, is due to the poor script and screenwriting. The script in this movie is definitely not up to par than with some of the other comedies that have come out this year. I feel like if it wasn't for the visuals, that the directing might have even failed a little bit, because there are some scenes where it's just kind of all over the place. You see something and then it jumps to something else, and the thing you were just watching is no longer there, but it's still acting as if it was. The acting. Now, Adam Sandler, having had a very rough patch, probably for the last decade in the theaters, with Jack and Jill, Blended, Grown Ups 1 and 2, That's My Boy. A lot of his movies recently have been on the downside. Even Kevin James, Paul Blart 1, Paul Blart 2, The Zookeeper. His movies recently have definitely not been up like they should be, like they have been. Josh Gad, on the other hand, though, is coming off of his hype of Frozen and Kevin Hart's movie The Wedding Ringer, and still holds up to his comedic edge that he had in those movies. Peter Dinklage, obviously coming over from Game of Thrones, did a phenomenal job at his character. Completely different for him, being a funny guy instead of a serious warrior in the older times, I guess you could say. But the funniest part of this movie, the funniest actor, is Sean Bean's small cameo where he actually stays alive and doesn't die. So very different there. But this movie overall, the plot just doesn't completely hold up. There's been a lot of reviews where people have been saying that, it's just a god awful movie and that it's stupid and all this other stuff. And I somewhat agree. In a lot of ways, you kind of have to turn your brain off in order to enjoy it. But if you can get past some of the dull parts that are in between the fighting, it's not bad. I definitely enjoyed the climactic battle with Pac-Man, the battle with Donkey Kong. They were somewhat enjoyable. They were visually stunning. They did them well, and though this movie had a lot of potential, it had a lot of potential to take these 1980s arcade games and use them in a way that we've probably never seen, and it fails. It falls short of the mark that I think it was hyped up to be. That's why I would say this movie is definitely a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't do it any lower than that, because besides some of the acting, it was pretty good. The overall flow of it wasn't too terrible, and the fighting sequences definitely made it worthwhile. If you can get past the fact that this is an Adam Sandler movie, so you have a lot of jokes that are just absolutely stupid, it has some funny moments. Not throughout the movie. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it doesn't always feel that way. So that is my personal, and also from a critic standpoint, view on this movie. But like I said, this is my first one, so I want to hear what you guys have to say. Questions, comments, what can I do better? What can I improve on? So if you would hit that subscribe button and come along with me, there's going to be more in the future. Definitely some discussions, getting into more stuff. I want to hear questions from you guys, things that I might be able to answer, things I can find out, and we'll see where it goes.